Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another rated battle special VGC 14 battle where I provide live commentary as I climb the online ladder. Today I'm using the exact same 6 as the last battle with Mr. Mime, and I'm going to find a Japanese opponent rating 1695 right away. My team, of course, if you didn't catch it before, is Mr. Mime, Charizard, Aerodactyl, Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, and Garchomp. My opponent's team is going to be really interesting. Jinx, Politoed, Lucario, Ludicolo, Talonflame, and Nidoking. Couple things here. Jinx is a very interesting Pokemon. I actually do not know very much about it at all, so I'm going to have to be careful of that. Obviously, there's a Rain Core in Politoed, Jinx, and Ludicolo. Nidoking, not a very common Pokemon in VGC. Talonflame, obviously one of the more used ones. Lucario, definitely the Mega Pokemon in the set. So I'm going to have to watch out for that, too. I really don't know what my opponent's 6 can even do, so I'm going to have to be play pretty carefully. Charizard's going to be huge in this matchup. I think Rotom Wash is going to be good. Ferrothorn's going to be good. I think Garchomp might be pretty helpful too. Sadly, I don't think this is the right battle to bring Mr. Mime in, so maybe next time. I like Rotom Wash as the lead here, definitely. I actually like Ferrothorn as lead too, to threaten the immediate Politoed. I'm going to definitely have Charizard and Garchomp in the back. So let's see how these 4 fare against my opponents. Mr. Mime, I don't think is the best choice here because my opponent does have Talonflame and Lucario. And the Icy Winds won't really matter as much because I do have other means of speed control in terms of Aerodactyl, which I actually didn't bring into this matchup either because of all the water types and the Lucario, which obviously gets access to steel types as well. But let's see. I'm really curious to see what the Jinx can do because I haven't seen Jinx really used at all in VGC. So I'm going to go with my Rotom Wash and Ferrothorn against his Talonflame and Ludicolo. This is definitely the better matchup for my opponent here, as he has super effective moves against both my Pokemon. I'm going to double protect on the first turn just to scout what my opponent wants to do. Obviously the best move for my opponent here is just to fake out the Rotom and Flare Blitz of Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is going to be important in this matchup in terms of beating the Politoed, Ludicolo, Jinx core. So I'm going to have to make sure I conserve that relatively well. But I suspect my opponent has Lucario in the back. The Talonflame is actually going to switch out into the Lucario. Good play by my opponent there, as my Rotom is going to protect here, as well as my Ferrothorn. So my opponent makes a good play there, expecting the protect, and so switching out, making sure that he gets the advantage in terms of momentum and Pokemon out. So now I'm going to have to switch out the Ferrothorn. I'm going to burn the Lucario because I anticipate that it's physical. And I'm going to switch out my Ferrothorn into... I'm actually not sure how important Ferrothorn is in this matchup anymore because Ferrothorn doesn't really do very much against either Lucario or Talonflame. So I'm kind of tempted to just sack it. But that would be kind of silly considering how well it can do against the rest of the team. I'm going to switch out to Charizard, I think. I'm not sure if this is the best play, but Ferrothorn's a Pokemon you want to conserve. If it doesn't get one-hit KO'd, it can be a huge nuisance to your opponent's entire team. So Lucario's going to Mega Evolve. Really curious to see whether this is a physical or special variant. Both are viable, but I Will-O-Wisp it. Even if it's not physical, I just like having that residual damage all the time. And it is going to reveal itself to be a special variant. Okay, interesting. Really, I think the better of 2 versions, and the Aura Sphere is going to do a considerable amount. As you see, they're not targeting my Ferrothorn, a good play. I'm going to hit the Will-O-Wisp, which is always nice. I'm going to burn that Lucario. Not going to mean too much because, of course, it is special. Giga Drain to Rotom. I survive with just 26 HP, which is always nice. Lucario is going to take some burn damage. And here I get a free turn to Mega Evolve and just Heat Wave. I'm just going to Thunderbolt the Ludicolo, and Heat Wave. Let's see how this plays out. I suspect that my opponent's 4th Pokemon is going to be Politoed, and if that is the case, I'm glad that I conserved the Ferrothorn. Now Talonflame is the biggest threat at this point in the game. I really need to make sure I KO that. And I don't think Lucario has any way to one-hit KO the Charizard, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. So here I'm going to Mega Evolve. He might have actually just went for a double protect here to make sure I get the Mega Evolution out and then make it easier for him to switch in Politoed. As you see here, Lucario is going to detect with a really cool animation actually. But the Charizard actually isn't going to protect. Oh, but the Avoid! That's unfortunate. The Avoid basically making sure that I don't get the one-hit KO. And it's actually going to go for a Rain Dance. Ooh, fascinating. Nice play there by my opponent as he sets up the rain with Ludicolo. Manual rain is not something that you see very often, but in this case, I mean, obviously you just saw it there. Really, really cool actually. So here I think I'm just going to go for a double protect. Not only burn out the rain, but see what my opponent wants to do and get some more burn damage off onto that Lucario. Of course, now that rain is out, my fire type attacks are back to normal damage against that Lucario, because it's super effective, but the rain brings it down to normal damage. So of course, going for a double protect here, just trying to scout out what my opponent wants to do this turn. As Ludicolo goes for the Scald, going before the Lucario, showing that it is running a Swift Swim variant. So I'm going to have to obviously switch out the Charizard this turn. And I think it's time for Rotom to say goodbye. So I'm gonna Thunderbolt the. Sure, let's Hydro Pump the Lucario. At this point it doesn't really matter, but switching out my Charizard into Ferrothorn. Though my opponent has been predicting pretty well, so this is a pretty obvious play on my part. Let's see if my opponent predicts that. But if my Rotom is able to get that Hydro Pump onto Lucario, that would be great too. Let's see. Ferrothorn's gonna come out here. Ludicolo just does go for the Scald, I assume, onto Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn going to be able to take that pretty well. Lucario is going to go for an Aura Sphere. Let's see who he targets. Yep, onto that Rotom Wash, so it's going to bring me down. But I'm okay with that, as Lucario takes some more burn damage. Here I'm going to bring out Charizard to reset the weather into Sun. But now you'd have to anticipate that the Politoed is going to switch in. Most likely in the slot of Lucario, but not entirely sure. So I'm going to Heat Wave, and obviously Power Whip. I'm going to Power Whip the Lucario slot, expecting Politoed to come in. Lucario is going to switch out. Let's see if that is Politoed. Yep, that's Politoed coming in. So, good play on my part there. But I actually should have switched out Charizard because I anticipated that play. Actually, yeah, I made a huge mistake. Yeah, Ludicolo did not protect. For some reason I was expecting it to protect, so I made a pretty bad misplay there, as it actually does go for the Scald onto my Charizard. That's going to be a KO. And I'm going to be able to KO Politoed with Power Whip, but then now I'm in some trouble, because of course he has Talonflame as well in the back, and Ludicolo most definitely has Ice Beam. So I made the correct prediction, but I made the wrong play. If I switched to Garchomp right there, I would have basically won the game. But I didn't think that through entirely, and so I think I'm going to lose as a result of that play. But let's see. My opponent is going to bring Lucario back into the match. I am expecting an Ice Beam and an Aura Sphere. And so I think the only really conceivable way I can win this is by protecting Garchomp and Power Whipping the Ludicolo. And the Lucario is actually going to switch out, so this might just be the play that I needed to get back into this game. But let's see. Garchomp's going to protect here. Let's see what Ludicolo decides to do. Definitely not a protect from Ludicolo. Oh, wow, it just has Scald. Power Whip does connect here. That's great. Let's see if that's enough to KO. Yes, it is enough. Nice. So a very good turn on my part there. Surprised that Ludicolo actually didn't have Ice Beam. So it has Scald, Giga Drain, Rain Dance. I don't believe I saw Fake Out from it, but I don't remember. And I'm in a pretty good position right now, but the game's still not entirely over. I think I'm just going to go for a Rock Slide here. And I think a Protect onto Ferrothorn. Obviously, it's a pretty obvious play, so I'm not sure if that's actually the best play possible. I also, the Talonflame could always Protect, too. Okay, I'm going to Rock Slide and just Leech Seed the Lucario. If Talonflame does Protect, then I'll be able to just, get the free KO onto Lucario, but it's not going to Protect here. It's going to do a lot less than I actually anticipated onto my Garchomp. Taking some recoil damage. Oh, shoot! It's Aura Sphere. Oh, onto the Ferrothorn. Okay. Oh, I played that incorrectly. Yeah, not entirely sure. Oh, and the Avoid. As I'm going to pick up the KO onto Talonflame here with Rock Slide. Oh, this is close. But Lucario, as you saw, is going to outspeed me. So I think at this point, the game is over. As I do take some Life Orb damage. Let's see how many Protects I can get. Yeah, I'm almost confident that Lucario can KO Garchomp at this range. I'd be surprised if it's otherwise. Pretty close game, considering how badly I think I messed up that one turn with Ferrothorn. With Charizard, not switching Charizard out into my Garchomp, actually. So I'm just gonna Earthquake here. Maybe Horror Sphere won't KO, but that'd be very surprising. So let's see how much this Horror Sphere does. Yep, that's a KO. So good game. Very nicely played by my opponent. I definitely misplayed in the last couple of turns, and that huge turn when I anticipated the Politoed switch in was a very bad mistake on my part. But, you know, you always learn from your mistakes, and if anything, this has taught me to not make my moves as quickly, because I made the correct prediction, I just made the wrong play. And I'm not sure exactly what was going on through my mind during that battle. But anyway, that's it for today's battle, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, of course, like always, 300 likes to bring the next battle, and I'll see you next time. Peace.